Pakistan, a state which is ruled by law, not follower of rule of law. To understand Pakistan's relationship with rules and laws, one must first accept a central conflicting truth. Pakistan has a robust legal framework in theory, but its application is deeply fractured, inconsistent, and often absent in practice. The ideal of the rule of law, where the law is supreme, applies equally to everyone, and protects the rights of all citizens, exists more on paper than in the daily lives of its people. The reality is a complex mix of a functioning legal system for a privileged few and a system of power, influence, and fear for the general people. The theory. A strong legal foundation on paper. Pakistan's legal system is impressive. It is built upon the legacy of the British Raj, which left behind a detailed common law system. Pakistan has a written constitution that clearly outlines the structure of the state, the separation of powers, executive, legislature, judiciary, and a comprehensive list of fundamental rights for its citizens. These include the right to life, liberty, dignity, fair trial, and freedom of speech, assembly, and religion. The country has a vast network of laws covering everything from criminal justice and contract enforcement to environmental protection and consumer rights. There is a formal hierarchy of courts, from local magistrates to the Supreme Court, designed to provide justice to every citizen. In theory, any Pakistani who feels wronged can approach these courts for redress. This is the Pakistan that exists in law books and official documents, a state that aspires to be governed by rules. The practice, the ground realities. This is where the theory collides with a much harsher reality. For the average Pakistani, the law is not a shield, but often a weapon used by the powerful. The concept of living without concern and without fear is a distant dream for many. Here's why. 1. The two-tiered justice system. The most glaring issue is that the law does not apply equally to all. There is one system for the powerful and wealthy, the elite, politicians, military establishment, and industrialists, and another for everyone else. For the powerful, influential individuals can often bypass the legal process entirely. Police investigations can be stalled, court cases can drag on for decades until witnesses give up, and justice can be bought or negotiated. The infamous concept of sifarish, recommendation, or pulling strings, is a cornerstone of this system. A phone call from the right person can get a ticket torn up, a job secured illegally, or a criminal charge dropped. For the common person. For an ordinary citizen, navigating the legal system is a nightmare. It is slow, prohibitively expensive, and corrupt. A simple property dispute or a minor criminal case can take a lifetime to resolve, draining a family's finances. The police, who are meant to be the first line of defense, are often underfunded, poorly trained, and notorious for corruption and extrajudicial actions. For the poor, encountering the police or the courts is something to be feared, not sought for justice. The culture of impunity. Certain institutions and groups operate above the law. The military establishment has historically held significant power, and its members are rarely held accountable in civilian courts for their actions. Similarly, extremist religious groups have often operated with impunity, intimidating the state and minorities, with the government hesitant to apply the law against them for fear of backlash. This impunity trickles down. When people see the powerful flouting laws without consequence, it erodes public faith in the entire system. Why should a shopkeeper follow zoning laws when a massive factory was built illegally? Why should a driver obey traffic signals when a minister's convoy speeds through red lights? Protection of life and livelihood. Can people live without fear? This is a direct and painful question. The answer for most is no. Physical security. While major cities have seen improved security compared to the peak terrorism years of the late 2000s, street crime, robbery, kidnapping, mobile snatching is rampant. People live in fear of these everyday threats. The police response is often slow and ineffective, forcing many communities to hire private security. Economic fear. For the poor and the middle class, economic survival is a constant battle. The law offers little protection against exploitative employers, sudden inflation, or land grabbing by local strongmen. A dispute with a more powerful neighbor or business can lead to financial ruin, as the legal path is not a viable option for a quick and fair resolution. Fear of the state itself. For journalists, activists, and dissenting voices, the fear is even more profound. Laws against blasphemy and cybercrime are often used as tools to silence criticism and persecute minorities. Enforced disappearances, particularly in provinces like Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, create an atmosphere of terror for those who speak out against the state or powerful institutions. In such an environment, living without fear is impossible. The glimmer of hope, a vibrant civil society, and an active judiciary. Despite these grim realities, it is not a picture of complete despair. Pakistan has a resilient and vibrant civil society, a courageous media, though under pressure, and a judiciary that has, at times, shown remarkable independence. The Supreme Court has occasionally taken suo motu actions, acting on its own initiative, on matters of public importance, holding the executive accountable. Lawyers' movements, most notably the one that restored the Chief Justice in 2007, show a deep commitment to the ideal of judicial independence among the legal community. Human rights organizations tirelessly document abuses and advocate for reform. These elements are crucial. They are the reason the system hasn't collapsed entirely. They provide the channels through which pressure for change is applied and occasional victories for justice are won. Conclusion: a state of rule by law, not rule of law. In conclusion, Pakistan is better described as a country that practices rule by law rather than the rule of law. Rule by law means the state uses the law as a tool to govern and control its population. The law is applied selectively to maintain order and protect the interests of the powerful. Rule of law means the law itself is the highest authority, and everyone, including the government, is subject to it. The general people of Pakistan are not fully protected under the accepted laws. Their life is often defined by concern and fear of crime, fear of injustice, fear of powerful individuals, and fear of the state's own instruments. The law for them is not a guarantee of safety but another variable in a difficult and unpredictable life. The real situation is a daily struggle between the Pakistan promised by its constitution and the Pakistan defined by its ground realities, a struggle where, for now, power and privilege too often triumph over justice and equality. Until the fundamental gap between the law in the books and the law in the street is bridged, the dream of a life without fear for every Pakistani will remain just that, a dream.